Hey everybody, it's me, Tom Angleberger, author of the Origami Yoda series, including R2-D2's Guide to Folding and Doodling, and the new Two-Headed Chicken books. It's a graphic novel about a two-headed chicken. But today we're here to talk about origami cats. I've got a new kind of cat model here. It's actually kirigami, and it takes two cuts to make a cat. And so I'm calling these two cat cuts, or two cut cats. And let me show you what we got here. We got this little kitty cat, and it's easy to fold. You can draw a heart on there to make a Valentine to give to your mom or somebody else special, or maybe even to your cat. Why not give one to your cat? Let me show you how to make it. It's super easy. You can make it out of any kind of normal piece of paper. I bought this at the dollar store, and it's got all these nice pieces of colored paper. So let me grab one of these, maybe orange. And I'll show you how to make a cat. In fact, here's one I've already finished out of the orange paper. It looks familiar. I can't quite put my finger on it, but that one looked familiar. Let me show you how this thing works. It's real easy. So, oh yeah, make sure you've got a Sharpie or something nearby to decorate this with. And you may want to have a pair of scissors. I did say that it takes a couple of cuts. You can actually tear the paper because the cuts are super simple. But for your first time, why not have a pair of scissors handy? All right, and let's get some of that detritus out of the way. So the first thing you guys are going to do is fold down a nice, healthy fold, almost all the way down to the bottom. Leave about an inch down there at the bottom, or of course, it could be more than an inch if you started with a much bigger piece of paper or a smaller piece of paper. But just make sure there's a nice bit of paper down there at the bottom. All right, now we're going to grab our scissors, and we're going to find the middle, right about the middle, and just make a really small cut here. Okay, just a small cut. And now turn the paper around, and on that same middle line, you're going to make a bigger cut. Okay, so those are the two cuts for the two cut cat. All right, let me show you what you're going to do now. Down here at this lower cut, you're going to, let me put this piece of graph paper under here so you can see a little better. Now you should be able to see what we're doing. We're going to take the little corner that's there, and we're going to fold it under like this. And we're going to take the other little corner that's there, and we're going to fold it under like that. That's going to make the shape there of the cat's mouth. Okay? That's all it takes for those two. But now what you're going to do is come over here, and to make the rest of the cat, you're going to fold this other corner, this all the way over on the edge. You're going to fold it underneath. You don't want this to come to a sharp point there. You want to leave it a little bit rounded there, okay? And then do the same thing on the other side. So once you get used to it, these are very easy folds to make. There's absolutely nothing fancy about this origami. All right, but there is one thing that's going to be a little different than my normal origami. You're probably used to me flipping this over. Let me get this graph paper out. Flipping this over and doing the normal puppet fold that I do in all my videos. Well, this time we're not going to do that. Just hold on. Don't do that yet. Here's what I want you to do. You're going to fold over, but you're actually going to fold at an angle like this. Okay? So you don't want to go too close to that cut. Leave some space next to that cut. And fold down at a nice angle, and you see how that makes a little tiny triangle sticking out at the bottom? That shows you've got it just about right, if you've got that, just that little bit of extra hanging over the bottom. Later on, we might fold that out of sight, but right now it's good to know we did it right. Okay, so let's do another one here. Some of you that have read Origami Yoda may recognize this is not unlike the good old original Origami Yoda from the first book. Before we go any farther, let's flip it over. Let's make sure things are even. They're fairly even here. If we slip this graph paper underneath here, you can see things are fairly even. It's not perfect, but it's close enough for this cat model. It's okay for things to be a little bit organic. All right, let's flip it back over. Now what we're going to do is maybe the hardest fold in this, but it's really not hard. You're just going to sort of stick your finger in here to sort of loosen this up, open this up a little bit, and you see how it almost is so ready to fold that way. Well, just go ahead and fold it that way. Okay, just squash it down. You see how that worked? I put my finger in there, and it wanted to sort of lay down over here. So I just squashed it down so it would stay that way, like that. Now I can do the same thing on the other side. I get my finger in there, open things up. It just naturally wants to go over. And once it does, you can squash this down. You're going to try to squash them down so it's about at the same angle on each side. But again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be a little bit organic. All right, let's flip it over and see what we got. Okay. We are going to be trimming this down a little bit. Don't worry, the cat is not that wide. Unless you want it to be that wide. Maybe your pet cat is a really wide cat. All right. Here's what you're going to do. Before we go any further, let's shape these ears. Just push that corner down and back and fold it shut. And the same thing over here. Like that. Okay, I think I'm going to fold these back a little bit. Now, this is all up to you. Your cat can end up in lots of different shapes. See how Garfield kind of comes out? He's pretty wide. But this cat comes straight down. Some of these other cats actually tuck back in a little bit. It's all up to you. You just fold it however you want to. I'm going to fold it down like that. And then I'm going to try to match it on the other side. But again, it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, I don't even know what perfect would be. There is no perfect. All right, so let me just get this graph paper under here one more time so you can see how that head looks. What do you think? We can do lots of other things. You can keep folding this as long as you want to make it more cat-like. Anytime you fold a corner in, the head's going to get less angular and more cat-like. But if you are happy with it as it is, go ahead and keep it the way it is. None of these are necessary. These are all just little tweaks to maybe make it look a little more cat-like. All right, let's go ahead. We'll get to the tail in a minute. I want to go ahead and draw the face on here so you guys can see how this is working. Now, one of the things I like about this project is the folds, even if my folds are the same as your folds, the way you draw the cat will be different. And so we're going to end up with different looking cats. Any way that you like to draw cats is fine. I'll show you the way I like to draw a cat. I like to put the ears on, connect them, and then I'm going to do a big loopy line around here. It's going to come up and make a loop, come around, and go all the way back up like that. Now notice that I'm keeping the line inside that shape I made. That's the reason I made it that way, so that it could be like that. All right, and now I think I'll color the nose in. Let's see, how should we do the eyes? I think I'm going to give it a couple of big eyes. But again, any way you want to do it is fine. This is your cat. Uh-oh, this is starting to look like sort of like a little lost kitten or something. Oh dear, it's adorable. All right, draw some dots and then some lines for the whiskers. And there's a little bit of extra paper past the edge there, so past the line, you can make your whiskers go off the edge a little bit. I think that works out pretty nicely. If you want to, you could add a little tooth or a little tongue sticking out at the bottom there if there's room, but it'll also be fine to just leave it like that. How about a couple little V's up there like that? All right, now let's draw the paws on here. I'm going to draw a paw like this and a paw like this, and I'm going to hold a little heart because when I'm filming this, it's almost Valentine's Day. So I don't know when you'll be watching this, but I thought this would make a nice Valentine for somebody. In fact, I already made one and gave it to Cece. All right, so there you go. You draw the sides of the cat there like that. Now, if you want to have a striped cat, you can go on here and draw some little zigzags and make a striped cat. I kind of like having the stripes. I think it looks pretty good. But maybe you're trying to make one that looks like your cat, and your cat doesn't have stripes. So do it however you like to. It's fine with me. I'm not going to complain. All right, now let's just see if we can figure out how to do the tail. Now, if you flip this back over, you'll see that a piece of tape right here would help us make this into a really nice finger puppet. So if you want it to be a finger puppet, just keep it like this. And then you can walk up to somebody and say, meow, be my Valentine. Okay, well, whatever you want to say is up to you. That's not my business. But if instead of a finger puppet, you'd like to have just a nice little kitty cat that you can put in an envelope, why don't you flip this over? Okay, get one of these pieces of paper here and fold it way out to the side here. And then fold it back up this way. Did that make sense? Let me see if I can show you a little closer. I folded the whole thing over, and then I folded this corner over like that. And when you look at it from the front, you can see it just put this little piece of paper here to the side. Now down here at the bottom, I'm going to bend this backwards like that. And that's going to be where the tail attaches to the body. So let me just lift the head up just a little bit so I can get in here. And I'm going to draw the tail. I'm going to have it come all the way in down there to the bottom. And I'm going to put some stripes on it. Like that. Now we've got our little kitty cat. Hey, I think I'll give the little red heart here. All right. So, just about any of my origami could turn into a Valentine if you're creative enough. Last week we did Godzilla. Hey, maybe the person you want to give a Valentine to likes Godzilla better than kitty cats. Well, if so, you can look at that one. And if it's not Valentine's Day and you want to do something completely different, be my guest. Have a look through all of my different origami instructions. I've got tons of them here and tons of them on origamiyoda.com. All right, folks, I had a great time talking to you today. I hope you have a great time folding this. And when I'm doing Origami Yoda, I usually say, may the force be with you. So now I can say, may the fur be with you. If I can get this, I forgot I messed up the finger puppetness there of it. Okay. All right. Well, oh boy. Oh, I messed up the video right at the very end. Well, don't tell anybody. All right, there's your kitty cat. Have a great Valentine's Day or whatever day it is. Have a great time folding some origami. I'll see you next time, everybody.